Welcome back to another video where I will be showing you how to use cosine in an accurate example. If you want to learn how to use SOHCAH and TOA and when to use which of the cosine or tan, then you can go check out the other video in the description or in the top right over there, where I have linked to the video where I explained how to use these properly. So we start by figuring out which one it is. So if we just had these, we labeled them. So this question mark, opposite of it would be here. Adjacent would be here because this is the hypotenuse. You know it's the hypotenuse because it's longer. Also, it's opposite of the right angle. So this will only work in right angle triangles. But so if it's not a right angle triangle, say something like that's not a right angle triangle. You can split it into two triangles that are right angles, and that will help fix it. You just need to make sure if you have something here and like you have A and B here, then you have to find this first, and then you get to use that to find this. We will get onto that in a later date. So to start, we know that this is opposite. We know this is adjacent. We know this is hypotenuse. So by just using SOHCAH-TOA, we know since we have the adjacent, we have the hypotenuse, so we need to find something without opposite. So has opposite hypotenuse, so it's not so. CAH has adjacent hypotenuse, and TOA does not have the hypotenuse, so it's not that. So that means we know it's cosine, because cosine adjacent hypotenuse. Also, in the order of that, we know that it will be adjacent, then hypotenuse. Cosine, then adjacent, then hypotenuse. So if we have adjacent here, a hypotenuse here, we know it will be cosine minus, and since we're trying to find a degree, not a side, so that means we have to use -1. Cosine -1, adjacent over hypotenuse, which then would equal whatever our question mark is. So if we figure this out, cosine -1. So if we use a calculator to figure this out, I don't think that will render very well, but it would be, okay, second. So since to get the -1, it is not cosine then x to the power of -1, because that, actually I already had the cosine there. So it would not be cosine x to the power of -1, because that gets the -1 inside the bracket, but instead it is second cosine. On some calculators it may be something else, but if you see cosine above it, or if you see cos -1 above, try to get to focus here. Hold up. Here we go. Lighting isn't optimal here. All right, so if you see cosine -1 above cos, then it's going to be second cos. So if we know it's cosine -1, 12 over 18. Now you don't need to close the bracket. It'll do the same thing, but I just will because I would like it. It looks better. And we know that equals to 48.189. So 48.189 ... degrees. So if we're trying to round, like most teachers will round to the nearest 10th. So we know it will be question mark. I wrote 2 there. Question mark equals 48.189 degrees. So if we're trying to round to the nearest 10th here, let me get that out of the light. We know that this will this will round up because this is over 5. So 48.2 degrees equals question mark. And instead of question mark, you would put whatever variables over there. Doesn't really matter, but if you're trying to answer it like I am here, then you should put whatever variables there to emphasize that it is going over there. Just gonna put this back one more time. There you go. If you want to pause and look at the math again, here's your time. If you want to learn how to use SOHCAHTOA again, I have listed in the top right, I have also put in the description, and I also give examples of when to use sine, cosine, and tangent in other videos like I did just now.